Hi everybody, it's Janet Smarter Country Living, and Charlie's making a big pot of beans tonight, and I'm making some Mexican cornbread to go with it. Now this is my cousin's wife's recipe, and it's really good. And you use a cup of yellow cornmeal mix, a cup of self-rising flour, a fourth of a cup of sugar. To look at a recipe every now and then, make sure I get it right. Okay, and 1 egg. Well, I'll do this other stuff first. 1½ teaspoons of red peppers. These are crushed red peppers. Just 1½ teaspoons of these. That's what's going to make it hot, okay? And a small onion chopped up and a small green bell pepper chopped up. There we go. Now, we're going to put an egg in there. Here we go. Okay, 1/2 cup of oil. A cup of shredded cheddar cheese. And we usually use sharp cheddar. Let's get that started stirring in here. And see, 1/2 cup of creamed corn. And a cup of milk. As the recipe says, sweet milk. So, we'll get that started. I think this is all the ingredients. And if I think I need any more milk, I'll add to it. I think this is going to be okay. Okay, we got the cornmeal, the flour, the egg, sugar, oil, chopped green pepper and onions, and the red peppers, cheddar cheese, milk, and corn. So we've got everything in here now. Stir it up good. Now I know a lot of you, maybe most of you, do your cornbread in an iron skillet. Well, you go right ahead and do yours in an iron skillet if that's the way you do it. But I've got mine in just a regular bread pan, as I call it. So don't get on to me for not using an iron skillet. You just go right ahead and use one if that's how you want to do it. Now I had some melted butter in this already, and it was hot. The pan's hot and the butter's hot. I melted about maybe a teaspoon of butter in there. Now don't that look pretty? Now this is going to go in the oven at 400 for around 20 minutes, 450 for around 20 minutes. Now this is something my mom always did when she would put before she put bread in the oven. She would always, or cake, she would pat it on the bottom. Now you don't have to do that. She did that all the time, so I just do it too. I think mainly like in cakes and stuff, it brings the bubbles up out of it. So we're going to put this in the oven for about 20 minutes. And as you can see, Charlie's beans has got 22 minutes to go. Now this is going to be in a separate video. Charlie's showed you how to do his beans. And then I'll have a link to the cornbread video. And in the cornbread video, I'll link to this one. So you all can look at both of them. But we'll see what this looks like here in about 20 minutes. Okay, here it is. 20 minutes is what it took at 450. hot out of the oven. Now we'll just put this on the table and cut it. We're going to enjoy this with our beans. And I'll show that in just a few minutes.
Okay, we're in at the dining room table. We've got our big pot of beans. You want to pan on that, darling, right there? See that now? And here's our bowls of beans. Janet's, mine, and our son's over there. And we're ready to enjoy pinto beans seasoned with Joel bacon and Mexican cornbread. Don't that look good? Now I'm going to test it. Oh boy, that's so good. Those beans. Okay, as I was saying, Janet, she had a little cough there and had to pause it for a second, but that's okay. These beans are so soft. You could actually, if you wanted to, you could smash them up and just make smashed up beans. But they're so soft, and in 30 minutes, believe it or not, they're done. Just so good. I might add just a tad more salt. That's what you do. You add a little extra salt if you don't have enough on, but just enough to season them with when they're cooking. But then when you're eating them, add a little extra. But if you can find you some good Joel bacon someplace, it's a perfect seasoning meat for beans. And if you're going to cook you some green beans for a long time, maybe if you're going to cook them on stovetop, it takes probably, I forget, maybe an hour, hour and a half to simmer fresh raw green beans on top stove. You can actually use it on there, use the Joel bacon in that too if you want to, because it'll cook at 212 degrees, same as it will in the pressure cooker. But just the idea of cooking your pinto beans so fast, and they're just as good as if you stood over them all day long and stirred them things all day. But 30 minutes and you got dinner ready. So now, one more little thing I want to show you. Up here in Appalachia, or down here, wherever you happen to live at, and in reference to us, what we like to do is take our cornbread and pinch it up and put it right in our beans. Just put it right in there. Whether it's regular cornbread or, in this case, Mexican cornbread. And it just makes everything come together just like one big happy family right in that bowl. And it's delicious. Oh my goodness. What a meal. What a meal. And we thank you for tuning in to us this evening. And you probably already knew most of the stuff that we discussed. That's okay. Hey, it don't hurt to review, does it? No, it don't ever hurt to review. You might learn a little new tip somewhere along the way. I don't know how many of you knew already that you could cook pinto beans in a pressure cooker, but one of the main safety things to remember about cooking your pinto beans in a pressure cooker: don't overfill your pressure cooker, because you leave your headspace in that pressure cooker so that when them beans cook, they're going to swell up. You don't want them to kind of come out the top and spew out of that cooker. So just put a sensible amount in there. I used 4 cups of beans, and it did very well. And we got quite a bit of servings here in this nice big pot right here. So we used the same, incidentally, very same kettle. This thing come out of the Instapot. That's what they cooked inside the Instapot. We just use it for a serving apparatus. Okay, well, that's all for tonight, or this evening. I hope you might try this sometime. If you do, just comment below, and there's a link in there. I think Janet might put in there for her Mexican cornbread, or whichever way it's going to show up. Yeah, she's going to have a link to her Mexican cornbread. And believe me, this is a humdinger of a supper right here. Standalone supper right here in this bowl. And there's seconds inside this pot. So have a blessed evening. We thank you for joining us. Good evening.